I'm in my studio. Not a whole lot going on today since it is, of course, Memorial Day weekend. It's a day when we honor mammals, for those who don't know. I am here in my studio just chilling out. I thought I would do a little bit of educational jazz on, well, jazz. So yeah, let's check out one of my favorite songs. This was introduced to me by Rob Hunt. He is a teacher, well, he's a professor of biology or something, but he was an adjunct in the music department at Hartwick College, and I'm mighty glad he showed me this song. This song is really cool. It's a ballad in B flat, and it does a few different things. So it's cool for many different things. One of the things that I like about it is it just vamps this B flat. Basically, 8 bars of the A section, well, okay, 6 bars of the A section, all have B flat underneath it, which is very reminiscent of Miles, if I can remember it. So that Someday My Prince Will Come, I just did it bare minimum because I haven't played that song in quite some time. So I don't know the chords. But anyway, you get the idea. When you vamp a note on the bottom of as a bass line, it makes things a lot more interesting. So here's my arrangement of How High the Moon. So one thing I like to do is the 4 over the 5. So this starts with A flat over B flat, and then I go to A over B, and B flat, and then, that this is the chord where the song starts. Still a slash chord. I'm playing C over D. So the real, kosher version just plays G major over it. And I think I was in college when I was like, yeah, how about we play C major 7 and then go to C major 7 over D and then go to the G minor, right? So here's what my arrangement sounds like. Because it's just me playing, I don't have a bassist or a guitarist. There's a million things that I could play over this D, and that's what I really wanted to focus on today, are what to play over chord changes, because one of the questions rather I'm most asked is, how the heck do you improvise, So I did a basic video on this as far as rock improvisation goes a long time ago. To boil it down, basically in rock, you would use the pentascale, or the pentatonic scale, I'm sorry, the pentascale is a different scale, which was made popular by guitar players, of course. So at the end of, Freebird, blues scale over that. But yeah, so you can use the minor pentatonic. I like to mix the minor pentatonic with the blues a little bit. Right, so it makes things more interesting when you add what we call color tones. And color tones are flat threes, sharp fours. Sometimes it's just, even chromatic stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do to improve your soloing. And I'm going to open up to, just because it's going to make me easier to do this, Ask Root. I won't even open up to it. So when I was in college, I was having trouble soloing. And an old schooler told me, not at the time, but recently when I was showing him that I do this, an old schooler was telling me, yeah, there's this name for that and it's thus and so. But when you have a million changes, I'm going to use Autumn Leaves. I play it in G minor. Right. So when I was working on that in college, I played the C minor chord that it starts with, and then I would just play straight up eighth note scale. So here I'm simply altering the major scale to adhere to my chord. So this is C minor 7, so it has a flat third and a flat seventh, which means that I can just alter a C scale and play the flat third and the flat seventh. And it sounds boring, which is why I typically will add in some chromaticism to it, and at least add in the blues scale. But that's not appropriate for this exercise necessarily, because we're really just interested in modality and freeing up the hand and thinking in between changes, if you will. So the first way you can practice this and do this is just all in root position. So like here's C minor. Now I move to F. So on the top, I'm just going to start on F. And now I go to B flat. And now I'm in E flat. Now you can hear I'm about to run out of keyboard, right? So I could then just go down for my A altered. Right? So in a sequence, that sounds something like. Okay, so I had to think about what I was doing. You notice it forced me, and I made a few flubs. And yeah, the easier thing to do is to find a happy medium between actual improvisation and just using these scales, which is what I did at the end there. So here's the happy medium. I start in the same place. But now, like, my third of the F is a heck of a lot handier than my root. So then I'm just going to do something like. So now I'm on the B flat. That's an E flat scale that I just centered around the third, which is G. And now I'm doing the A. Now I'm on the G minor. G og. basically use the realms that I just played in to do a solo. So I'm going to start on the root, because why not? I seem to like that little that little chromatic stepping down seems to be a theme today, at least with my improvisation. So you should do this when you're trying to learn how to improvise, even if you're just doing it over triads. It helps you kind of figure out your voice leading and where you want everything to go. But let's face it, most things with triads in it is just simple rock, and we just stick really to two separate scales, minor pentatonic or major pentatonic. In rock piano, we even deduce it down even more. You could just play the notes G, A, D, E over 1, 6, 4, 5. And it makes it easier to play because it reduces the scale, essentially, or the amount of notes that you're playing, so you can arpeggiate things a little faster. But anyway, we're talking about jazz today, so that will be another video. Okay, so let's do that with A Child Is Born. So here's B flat major, and then I have to play E flat minor. Whoops. And then I just switch between that. So I can, this is where it kind of is useless to just play the root position scales, because the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars is just B flat major to E flat minor. So here what I would do is I would do that in between thing where, yeah, okay, I'll start on a root position. There it is again. I wanted a different note. Oh well. Now I'm going to start on the root note for the next chord. Oh right, this would be F over E flat, or E flat over F. So now I can just try to solo over it normally. Okay, so I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm not playing a million notes at a time. In fact, I despise that kind of soloing. I want it to sound like someone's singing a solo. So speaking of singing, one thing that you can do, let's pick another song. All right, so Misty is at least in E flat. This song is my nemesis. I have a new jazz student who learned it, and yeah, they're pretty good at it. So I thought maybe I should get pretty good at it, right? So with this particular example, with this particular example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing a solo. But what also helps, I wish I knew. Like, I'm hearing another chord. Maybe it's just that chromaticism. Yeah, that's what it is. So Misty is in E flat. I'm playing it E flat. And then I play E major because it's the tritone substitution for B flat. Not going to get into that. Look up tritone substitutions. I ain't going to give you all the answers, son. Alright, so, look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm walking on a cloud. That music I hear, I get misty. The moment you need. Now I'm altering chords, by the way. There's that E. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Must be the sound of your hello, that music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. People say that you're leading me on, but that's just what I want you to do. Don't you know how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. E chord again. On my own. Would I wander through this wonderland? Like I'm walking on a cloud. Forgot the lyrics. I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. That's why this is a practice session, because I gotta practice. Right? Okay, so that singing it helps. Just even the melody, just that helps, because now I can translate that into the piano right here. Right? So, jazz musicians, you need to listen to the greats, you need to get an idea of what these songs sound like, and generally that's going to take you easily 10 years, right? So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do like an Ella Fitzgerald kind of solo scat thing. fortunate enough to be able to play and sing. That's an added bonus. So I'm not going to do bass, so I can just concentrate on what I'm singing and trying to duplicate So, somewhere you've noticed, I'm sure, there were notes that I was singing that didn't come out in translation to the piano, but that's okay because that's that little bit of rub, you know? And also, I'm basically limiting myself if I'm going to sing because I'm sing my solo and play my solo as I sing it because I'm limiting myself to my vocal range, right? So it doesn't make it that easy. So what you want to graduate to after that is just kind of singing solos in your head or thinking about where you want to go, right, before you hit that change. Other things you can do is basically look at things in different ways. You can impose ideas, which is a lot of what I do. Let's find another ballad. Let's check out Demise. Let's see here. So at this point I'm just scrolling through here. I do of course have a repertoire of songs that I can play, but the thing is it's nice to have a reference to make sure that I don't, make any embellishments or anything like that. So My Foolish Heart was made, at least for us jazz pianists. The Bill Evans version of the song really stands out. So, what I'm going to do is, I like to have this kind of half-steppy thing. It seems to be a motif for me. So here too, like a lovely tune, beware my foolish heart. This because I'm obsessed with slash chords, right? So that gives me an idea of how I want to play it. So here I'm gonna play the head and then I'll play a little solo, give you guys an idea of what the entire thing sounds like once you got it down. Okay, so that was just a little bit of My Foolish Heart. That was not a solo I would write home about, but it still fit all the changes, and that's because I basically soloed change by change. That's something that you kind of have to do in jazz. So even right next to it, the next My is My Funny Valentine. So for those of you who don't know the tune, My Funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile in my heart. You look so laughable, unphotographable, but you're my favorite work of art. It's your fingerless, it's a mouth a little weak when you open it to speak. Oh, you smile, but don't change your hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Alright, so this song, and I tell you how near and dear to my heart this song is. There are so many memories of this song. There was a version of it done, an arrangement, I should say, done by Michael Sweeney, not to be confused with the baseball player Michael Sweeney. Mike Sweeney is what Mike Sweeney, the baseball player. Yeah, so we had fun with Michael Sweeney, that I'm willing to bet I remember it to this day, and this is something we played in like middle school. It was like something like that. So I guess I don't remember all of it, but it was a nice melodic solo that was pre-written for a trumpet to play. So that's kind of my background with this song as far as soloing goes. It's not like... Right, it's not that. As much as I like playing that, it's more like... There's that half step thing again. Right, okay. So that's the way that I feel this particular song. I mean, it doesn't need to be anything flashy, right? And especially if you're playing it as a ballad. Right? It's going to sound better just slower. So one of my favorite sayings of Miles Davis is they play fast, you play slow. They play slow, you play fast. Now, from a horn player perspective, that makes a lot of sense. But from a pianist perspective, it doesn't. Because we're a rhythm instrument. And if I'm playing My Funny Valentine, atomic Valentine. You make me smile with my heart. Right? I don't want to do. Right? It's too much. I need something that's just. I don't know why I like that lick so much. Right? So, as a soloist or a guy taking a solo, you have to kind of determine where am I going with the solo, like right from the get-go. And especially in jazz, that entails the tempo, right? So if I played this as kind of a medium ballad, it wouldn't be as bad for me to do, you know. Right? That's okay. So as a rhythm player, it really, really matters, that tempo. It's so muy importante. And then you just get weird songs. So especially when I do stuff solo, you know, I'm playing bass lines, right? And that's something else that I'm gonna get into because generally speaking, you improv the bass lines. But there are certain songs that I just have a set way of playing, like that arrangement of. Right, so that's How High the Moon. So with Nardis, I don't know, I can't remember how I used to play this. Whoops. So this song is so freaking cool because it starts on a major or on a minor chord, and then I don't know why the change isn't here, but it plays a sharp 9 at the end, which is just like a mishmash of major versus minor. And it's Miles Davis, you know, he pees in his pants and it's cool, and this is proof. So the hardest part about this song is there's horn shouts, right? Ba, 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 boo, ba, da, ba, da, ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da. So that little thing that I was playing, that's a counter part. So the melody is. Okay. So there are other things, I think, like Bill Evans plays it. I think he just plays like E major 7 down to E minor. But I was taught, I believe, by Steve Clark, who is a local bassist, and blame him if I'm playing this wrong, old schoolers. I was taught to play sharp 9 there, Bobby. Alright, so yeah, so my horn hit answer is basically, I just made my own hits up. So these particular hits are E7 and then F major 7. So the melody plays, and then yikes. Probably the worst I've ever played that. So these are things that you're gonna have to do as a jazz pianist, is basically arrange stuff. So I don't have that arrangement written in this book because, yeah, this is the legal edition. My illegal edition has, which is the old school real book from when I was in college. Honestly, I had real books since I was in middle school, but I kept losing them, and my poor father had to basically pay $60, $70 a clip. The first real books were illegal because nobody paid for the licensing. So this particular real book is made by one of my least favorite publishers, Hal Leonard, and subsequently it doesn't have some songs in it. Like, I don't believe it has Night and Day of whole songs in it. So thankfully, you can easily find this music on the internet. People have uploaded pages of this version of the real book, of that version of the real book. Just handy right now. And incidentally, I did a previous live video of the new real book. And this one is really cool. I like it. It's a lot nicer just format-wise, but they give you more options for songs and, arrangements. They have basically arrangements verbatim of some songs, which is great. So you can play them 2 different ways. This is just a lot more specific. Even when you look at like the fusion charts that are in this, which unfortunately there are more fusion charts than standard jazz, they're very specific. They show you bass lines, all sorts of stuff. So this book, for you fusion heads, which is probably going to be the next generation of jazz musicians, Zoomers, get this book. You're going to like it. It has Jaco in it. It's got that later Miles in it, but it also has some of the standards. It has Joe Zawinul tunes in it, like Birdland. It's got Chick Corea in it, 500 Miles High, stuff like that. So, yeah, great book. So the other one that I have, as previously mentioned, is this one that's falling apart. It's the old illegal real book. And, yeah, it basically also has some problems where there are songs in it that were just added by the authors, and that's just because they happen to be the college students transcribing it. So, yeah, the other fun part is there's a few songs at the end that don't really work, in alphabetical order. Now, there's a song called Yesterdays, which I love playing. should be playing it as a ballad, like. Right? But it's more fun up. So here I'm going to do the same thing with my soloing. So let's just play through the head. Actually, no, I'm just going to solo over it. I do a lot better when I'm not in charge of a bass line. Example. There it is again. So, yeah, you can see that when you're basically a solo pianist, there's only so much that you can do. I only have two hands. So, unfortunately, solos and sometimes even melodies and extra added parts to an arrangement just get obliterated when you're stuck using two hands. There's one that I used to play a lot with the bass player, of course. Ooh, Some Other Time. It's a good tune. I'm looking for the song Stolen Moments. I'm pretty sure it's in here. And I don't know who wrote it. Stella. Stolen Moments, there we go. Alright, so it has this groove. I'm playing it too fast. Oh, Oliver Nelson. So I just changed that groove because I have to move my hand, and I just can't do the bass line at the like this. I just can't play it that fast. So I have to compromise on the rhythm. Right? Unfortunately. So yeah, as a pianist, your your arrangements will change. So this is an arrangement that hasn't really changed. A little fast. Someday my prince will come. so haven't played this song in years, but it came back to me, which is nice. So try to do all this stuff, you more advanced jazz players. Play those solos just as scales. So, right? And I'm using chromatics there, so it's not just the root position scale the whole time. But yeah, that will make your playing a lot better. All right, so next time we will cover bass lines and how to play them on keyboard. It's a question I got recently, and it opened up a giant can of worms, so we're gonna check that out. So hope you enjoyed today, and hopefully somebody got something out of this. Take it easy, kids. Bye.